50% of miscarriages are linked to the quality of the sperm. So if you plan to get pregnant at some point, you cannot be the only one doing this work. Your partner, your husband, needs to be doing this with you. We usually take holidays in Cannes, so in the south of France. So this baby is from the French Riviera. So it's going to be a very French baby. In order for a body to sustain a baby, it needs to be full of life force, so that you can sustain this new life that is coming through you. Welcome to Blistopia Podcast. I'm your host, Mercedes Castellani, life purpose coach, business owner, and your spiritual guide on all things mindset, manifestation, and purpose. This podcast is a space for deep reflections, meaningful conversations to help you expand your mind, dive into the depths of your soul, and create a life that makes you feel alive. Whether you're walking, driving, or simply vibing, take a deep breath and get ready to dive. Hello, my love. Welcome to another episode of Blistopia Podcast. I'm your host, Mercedes Castellani. And this week, I have something so important to share with you. So I'm going to cut to the chase, but I am pregnant. And I have been really just like dying to tell you all of this. And basically, when you get pregnant, they always recommend you that you should wait for three months to be really safe, and avoid like announcing and then having to unannounce, even though sometimes some people do decide to share the news before. We decided that we wanted to be just on the safe side and wait until the 3 months mark, wait until the 3 months scan, and then really share with everybody. But to be fully honest, I have been dying to tell you all of this. So basically, when we got engaged, we wanted to tell our family, we wanted to tell our friends. So I think we waited for 2-3 months before we could announce to everybody fully the engagement. And then when we got pregnant this year, it's recommended to wait for 3 months and then you announce to everybody. So I feel like the whole year I've been having these fantastic things going on in my life, and I have just been dying to share all of those things with you. So here we are. I can finally share. And I think except for the announcement of the gender, which we don't know yet, other than that, there's no more big announcements this year. I think with the engagement and then the pregnancy, everybody has had enough announcements. So that's fine. So I want to share with you everything that has happened until now. I have been literally just dying to do this episode. So here we are. Get ready, girl, because I'm going to share everything with you. Get your tea fixed. If you're going to go for a walk, go for a walk. But you and I, we're going to have a chat. I have so many things to tell you. First of all, I am 3 months pregnant, and we are expecting a baby for the 2nd of May, 2026. So if baby arrives in due time, it would be a Taurus baby. If for some reason it comes a little bit before, it would be an Aries baby. In any case, very strong character, but we also have a strong character, so it should be fine. Regarding the gender, we don't know yet, but we want to know. So as soon as we can, I think we have to wait until 4.5 months or 5 months. But as soon as we know, I'm going to share. You're going to know. You're going to know. You're going to see it on Instagram. We cannot wait. I think also knowing the gender helps to kind of realize that you're actually bringing a life into Earth, and you can really project a little bit more yourself with the baby, whether that's a girl or a boy, and you can start choosing the name, and you can start choosing, certain clothes and certain toys. So it does helps, and we do want to know. So let me share everything, because there's been many bits and pieces to this. So I'm going to share absolutely everything with you, everything that has happened until now. And my story, it's a very positive story. It's a very easy, smooth story. So my hope is that by sharing this story, you get examples of things working out just fine, of things being so smooth, so easy, just like a breeze, basically, like it was meant to be. And I want to give you hope that maybe if you want to be a mom in the future, um, then maybe things can also be easy for you. So let's talk about the conception. Let's talk about the fun part. So basically, for us, the conception was super easy. We had discussed previously, more or less, when we wanted to start, planning a family, start looking for a baby. And we said, okay, in July 2025, we will probably start looking for a baby. And that was the date that we had kind of like settled to start the project, start the project, baby. So that was the reason why I think Fabrice proposed to me before. So that was in May that he proposed to me, because we knew that July was coming. And I know that for him, marriage is like really important. So I think that's why he proposed to me before that. So we would have at least the engagement before the baby would arrive, be conceived, whatever. So July, summer in Europe. So that's really cool. And we usually take holidays in Cannes, so in the south of France. So this baby is from the French Riviera. So it's going to be a very French baby. And we were on holidays. And of course, on holidays, you just relaxed and things are easy, basically. So we were very lucky. Basically, the first time that we tried, we got pregnant. And then that pregnancy was a viable pregnancy that stayed there for 3 months and that will probably stay there for a lot longer. So it happened very quickly, very easily. But I do want to say that it didn't come like out of the blue. We knew that we wanted to start planning for family in July. And basically in January this year, we started changing several habits and we started really preparing our bodies, our souls for a baby. So we changed our diet a little bit. We started eating things that support, egg health and sperm health. And I was eating, for example, a lot more meat and a lot more broth and a lot more liver, chicken liver, and a lot more eggs. And all of these things really help to support the quality of the eggs. Fabrice was eating a lot of nuts, a lot of things that had zinc and certain vitamins. So we started changing our diet little by little to really promote and have the better egg and sperm health that we could generate. Then we started drinking a lot less alcohol. So before, when we were living in Madrid, you go out during the week and you have a wine here and a wine there. And then when you count, maybe you've drunk four times per week. And then since beginning of this year, we were drinking maybe once or twice per week during the weekend and very small quantities, maybe like 1 or 2 glasses of wine. And that was it. So we naturally reduced the amount of alcohol that we both consume. None of us smoke, which is cool. And we do a lot of sports. So I do sports 3 times per week. Fabrice usually does like a big run once per week. So we were already doing sports, which is also good. We didn't have to change that. And then we started taking different supplements. So I started taking folic acid, which is very important for the spine of the baby once you get pregnant, but you need to start having reserves, like savings of folic acid before you get pregnant. We were both having like omega-3, which really helps, like egg and sperm health. And then we were both having like different supplements. So he was having like a male supplement and I had like a female supplement to really maximize egg and sperm health. So yes, our conception was extremely easy, but there was a lot of prep behind the scenes for that. Of course, then it seems that, maybe our DNA is compatible and I don't know, like it's a big thing, right? It's a mystery. Why life is created or why life is not created, it's a mystery. But what I wanted to do was, I was lucky enough to follow women that were a little bit ahead of me in the journey. and they were into biohacking or into health. And I really learned from these women. And one of the things that I learned from them was you need to prepare your body for pregnancy. So the baby's going to need a bunch of things. The baby's going to need a bunch of vitamins. The baby's going to need calcium. The baby's going to need um, everything. The baby needs iron and so many other things, folic acid, omega-3, whatever. The baby has so many needs. So when you prepare your body in advance, both you and your partner, several things are going to happen. First of all, 50% of miscarriages are linked to the quality of the sperm. So if you plan to get pregnant at some point, you cannot be the only one doing this work. Your partner, your husband, needs to be doing this with you. At least, ideally, 9 months before the pregnancy, or at least, so ideally 9 months before the pregnancy, at least 6 months before the pregnancy. So the job of your partner, of your husband, he has to do the job first before the pregnancy. And that part is extremely important because 50% of miscarriages are linked to that, to his job, basically. And then I had also read that when you do all of this prep and you really stock vitamins and minerals and everything that you need in your body, then you're going to have less nausea, less vomit, less things, because basically your body is full of nutrients and the baby can take those nutrients and not your nutrients. So if you plan to become a mom at some point, or if you are, looking for a baby now, I definitely recommend doing all of these lifestyle changes, looking at your diet, really reducing or eliminating alcohol, taking all the supplements, doing sports, all of these things so that your body is literally full of nutrients ready to hold a new life. And the thing is, in order for a body to sustain a baby, it needs to be full of life force so that you can sustain this new life that is coming through you. Another thing that I did, because it wouldn't be me if I wouldn't do this, right? I have a practitioner, Reiki practitioner here in Paris, who is extremely talented. So she does fantastic Reiki. You feel fantastic. And then while she's doing Reiki, she has some visions. And I remember back in the days when I was living in Paris in my 20s, I went and I did a session with her. And it was just, I think I did 2 sessions with her. And it was just fantastic. She's extremely talented. So I thought, I'm preparing my body for all of this. I might as well prepare like my energy. I want to make sure that every part of myself, my body, my heart, my soul, I want to make sure that every part of myself is ready to welcome this baby that we want. So I went and I did a Reiki session and she did the Reiki on me. And I felt really good. I felt really calm. It was really nice. And then when she finished, when she finishes, she usually tells you what she saw. And she kind of like gives you advice based on what your energy told her. And we finished the Reiki part. And then she's telling me that she had a vision of me pregnant. Like the moment she came close to my body to do the Reiki, she was like, I saw you with a baby, with a boy. It was dressed in blue. So might have been a boy. I saw you with a baby and you were so happy. And she was just like, okay, doing this prep, doing all of this like Reiki on me. And it was really nice to, first of all, know that my energy was completely on point, if you wanted to say. So it was really nice to see that. And then just like that nice little confirmation, the thing that you want is coming. I've seen it, it's there. And she told me everything's okay. Everything's okay from your point of view. Everything is okay from your partner's point of view. You just need to be careful with some things in terms, once the baby is here, be careful with this and this, because you have lived things in your family that are not necessarily the most functional ones. So be careful not to reproduce those things once the baby's here. And that was really eye-opening. That was really interesting. And that's definitely something for me to consider in the future once the baby's here. But then she said, in terms of like conceiving the baby, everything's okay. Like nothing is blocking. There's nothing, like everything's okay for you and for your partner. So yeah, we did a lot of preparation from January until July. And then the conception was really easy. But I would be interested to know, now I cannot know because we've done it this way, but it would be interesting to know what would have happened if we wouldn't have done all of those things. So I was 34 at the time I got pregnant, so still quite early, quite young, but kind of like the last year, the last year when you have all of your eggs in full health, etc. So of course you can get pregnant after that, many years after that, but I'm 34, I'm not 30. So I'm still young, but not that young. I'm not 20, I'm 30. And then my partner is 43, but that's basically fine because they don't have any issues with that. So that was the conception. So again, the conception was easy, but we did a lot of preparation. I wanted to make sure that we were doing everything that was under our control. Diet, doing alcohol, supplements, doing sports, the Reiki, everything. I wanted to make sure that all of the things that were under our control were done. And then with the pregnancy is at some point you need to surrender. And literally, I think I was in a full state of surrender. I was like, I have heard so many stories with women, couples that are trying to conceive for several months, for years. I also knew that some couples got it like the first time that they would try. So I think I was really open to it happening anytime between like 0 to 6 months, basically. And then it happened. It happened really, really, really quickly. So I found out that I was pregnant kind of like by accident, to be honest, because I went to the gynecologist because there was something that was not like fully normal with my cycle, etc. I'm not going to go into the gynecological details of it, but there was something that wasn't like fully normal. Nothing too crazy, but I was like, this is not how my body works. And I didn't want it to wait until, like 3-4 months until there's like an issue when we wanted to conceive and it was important for us. So I just went to the gynecologist and I said, look, there's this thing. It feels weird. Like my body doesn't typically behave this way. Can we look into this? And basically she gave me a bunch of studies to do. She gave me some analysis to do. So I went to do this analysis in a lab. And then the secretary at the lab says, but you have a pregnancy test here. So I'm going to give you the pregnancy test today, and then you're going to get the rest of the analysis afterwards. And I was like, she put a pregnancy test in there? Like she never told me that she put a pregnancy test in there. Anyways, we do all of the analysis, and I received that night the pregnancy test from a blood analysis. So that's very, very certain because normally people find out because they take a pregnancy test and then you take a blood test or you go and you get your scan. In my case, because of this misunderstanding with my gynecologist, basically I found out on the blood test, which is very faithful. But the thing was that I thought, okay, I'm going to get like positive or negative. Like you're either pregnant or not pregnant. It's like in my mind, it was like binary. Well, no, there was a number there. So I enter, I'm extremely nervous, excited, everything at the same time. And then I see 169. And I'm like, what the fuck is 169? Like, do you know what is 169? No. Well, I didn't know either. And you're extremely nervous trying to figure out what the fuck is 169. Basically, I started Googling, like, what is this thing? Because what they do is they measure a hormone, which is called beta something. And basically, if this beta something is higher than 10, so 0 to 10, you're not pregnant, that's fine. But if it's higher than 10, then you're pregnant. And that number grows as your pregnancy grows, let's say. So also with that number, you can tell exactly on which day you got pregnant, basically. So that's pretty interesting. And I get this number, it's 169. I'm like, oh my God, what the F is about 169? I Googled the thing and I'm like, okay, I could see like, okay, you're 13 days pregnant with this number. And I'm like, oh my God, so I'm pregnant. I couldn't believe it. Basically, and I saw that around like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. after work one day. And I wanted to record, how I would break the news for Fabrice. So basically, I said, okay, I'm not going to tell him tonight because we're both like a little bit tired and everything. I'm going to tell him tomorrow morning. I couldn't wait. I was like dying. I was so nervous. I really wanted to tell him. So basically the next morning during breakfast, I shared the results with him and I told him, and we were like extremely, extremely happy. And basically after that, we had to wait for like 2 months, 3 months. But basically at 2 months and a half, I had this incredible trip with my mom, my aunties, my sister. You've probably seen her on Instagram, like my mom, 3 aunties, my sister, cousin, and we were all women, 7 women in the land of my grandmother from my mom's side. So it was like the whole female lineage there. And I was like, oh my God, I really want to tell them. It was 2 weeks before the first trimester scan, but I decided to just tell them because it was just such a perfect occasion that I didn't want it to miss that occasion, seeing everyone live and telling them live. And I'm so glad that I did that because it was so special. My mom was so happy. My godmother was so happy. My sister was crying. She was so cute. So we were all extremely, extremely, extremely happy. We have already told all of our family, and now we're still telling some of our friends. So probably by the time you listen to this episode, we would have told our friends. Yeah. And then it's going to become public and then everybody will know. So yeah, that was how we found out. And it was so beautiful, such happy news. I don't know. I didn't think one could be this happy. It's a next level happiness. Now, in regards to the pregnancy, to these first 3 months, let me tell you, I have been so lucky. I have had zero nausea, zero vomits, zero anything. The only thing that I do feel is that I'm a little bit more tired than usual. And that is completely normal because basically the energy that you burn when you're pregnant is as if you were running a marathon every day of your pregnancy for 9 months. It is one of the most extenuating activities the human body can support. So I think it makes sense that I'm a little bit more tired than usual. But other than that, I feel fantastic. I feel great. I was dancing like crazy in Tony Robbins' event, dancing, jumping, screaming. I traveled for 2 weeks with my family, which meant that we were walking a lot. I needed to carry like sometimes my luggage, and I was still able to do all of these things. I'm still running, so you know that I've been running for several years now. I'm still running. I'm going to run until I cannot anymore, until I feel like, I cannot just support this anymore, or until my belly gets too big and I cannot run anymore. But I just love running, so I think I'm going to run as much as I can. And then I'm going to switch to something else, like more strength training or something like with less impact that feels a little bit more supportive to my belly, basically. But I have been so lucky until now. And I'm extremely, extremely grateful because everything has been easy. From the conception was easy. And then these first 3 months were easy. And just, it feels like everything is just really smooth, really, really, really smooth. And I felt so supported from the heavens, from the universe, God, angels, from my dad, who's watching us go into this new chapter in life. Yeah, and I just feel so blessed, so lucky that everything has been so smooth up until now. I'm sure that it will continue being this smooth. So it's just been a true joy. We literally got like the best of everything that could have happened up until now. I also think that this whole conception, pregnancy journey, it really is a beautiful exercise to embody the feminine energy. Because when you're trying to conceive, you literally, there's some things that you can do, like preparing your body, etc. But then it's a big act of surrender, just taking the leap of faith and trusting that is coming your way. And then once you get pregnant, it's also this opportunity to be fully in contact with your body, be fully present with all of the sensations that you get, really trusting your body. Your body knows exactly what it needs. So I'm really trusting my intuition in terms of, okay, what do I need? What do you want? What do you need from me? So, for example, I've been eating, up until now, I was eating a lot of animal stuff like broth and meat and a lot of eggs, which are extremely good for pregnancy. And I feel like my body has been now telling me that's like the savings that we have of animal stuff are really high now. Let's focus on something else. Let's focus on some fruits and vegetables. Let's focus on some cereals. So this week, I think I'm going to be having more of a vegetarian diet. But because my body is telling me, hey, we've had enough meat. Like we're good with the meat, we're good with the egg, we're good with the cheese. Like we're good with the proteins, girl. Like go and get some veggies, go and get something else. So it is a beautiful opportunity to just trust your body. Your body knows best, and then it's also a beautiful opportunity to embody the goddess of love and life and fertility that we have always been. And I feel it's kind of weird because, yes, I'm gaining a little bit of weight. I think I gained 3 kilos up until now. So I'm gaining a little bit of weight. I'm not feeling like I'm so sexy. And it's weird because I don't feel like my body is getting sexier because it's probably isn't. But I feel like a goddess of life, a goddess of love, a goddess of fertility. I just feel like a goddess. So it's crazy. Like I don't feel like my body's getting hotter, but I feel like a fucking goddess. Like I don't care. I don't care about how my body looks right now. So yeah, this whole thing is just like, I mean, I could talk for ages about this, but we are so extremely happy. Are yeah, just ecstatic. And I was thinking the other day, there have been so many years. I mean, for 34 years, I have been achieving and doing, in my studies and then my career and then in my business. And honestly, nothing ever felt like this because with achievements, my experience was that you're aiming for something. So you're working hard for that thing. And then once you get it, you're like, okay, what's the next thing? Oh, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And this is like, it feels like a miracle. It feels like a miracle. And every time you wake up and it's still there, it's still there, it's still there, it's still there. So I've had so many, like achievements in my life. And I was, whatever, a great student. And I was the best one in business administration in the whole university. And then I had great achievements in my career and I became a super young marketing director. And now I've set up my business and yes, so many achievements. Yet, I think nothing has ever made me as happy as this. I've been savoring this for 3 months and I still have so many more months to savor this every single day. And every single day, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I love life. Cannot believe that I'm alive. I cannot believe that my partner is alive. I cannot believe that we have a baby that is alive. And I'm just like in awe with life. When we were traveling with my family, I got really emotional at some point. We were looking at a beautiful landscape and we were looking at the sea. And I got really emotional. And I was thinking, I cannot wait to show you, talking to my baby, I cannot wait to show you the whole world. There's so many beautiful places that I want to show you. I cannot wait to share all of this world with you, to share all of these fantastic, people and all of these fantastic countries and all of this fantastic food and all of this just fantastic life. Like, I cannot wait for you to be here so I can share with you how amazing it is to be alive and how amazing it is to be a human being. It's kind of like it's crazy for me because I've always been, very independent, very ambitious, very high achiever. And I always knew deep down that I wanted to have children. So I've gotten all of those things that I wanted in terms of achievements. I've gotten this fantastic, healthy pregnancy that I'm extremely grateful for. And I think this is making me happier long term, more than all those other achievements that I've had in the past. And I was just joking to myself and I was thinking, oh my God, all of those years of achievements and all of those years of effort, happiness was so much easier. I just needed to get pregnant. It was like way easier, basically. I was kind of like joking for myself. But here we are, extremely, extremely happy. And I think all of the choices that I have made up until now make sense now because I made those choices thinking about, okay, I want to have a family. And some of those choices were hard. There was a person that I had been with for 4 years and I decided to leave that person. There's the rainbow. So beautiful. I'm looking at the rainbow right now. So I decided to leave that person back in 2017 because I couldn't see us having a family. I didn't like the project of family that I saw with this person. So I left a person that I deeply loved because I wanted something else. I wanted to have children. I moved to Paris in 2024, which is not something that I would have done. It's not something that made sense for my business. But I decided to do that because I wanted to set up a family with Fabrice. I'm like, I found my person. I'm going to follow my person to Paris, even though with the level of freedom that I have, I could be in Bali or I could be in Tulum, working from the beach with a very low cost of living in a fantastic villa close to the beach. And we're in Paris, which is a big city. So, but I decided, okay, whatever, like I'm going to support him in his career. I'm going to follow him. And this is my person. And I want to have a family with him. So I'm going to follow him. So we are just extremely happy to see that all of this just happened in this way, so smooth, so easy. We are extremely happy. Our families are extremely happy. We are sharing tears of joy. Everybody's getting so, so happy. And it's also really fun because I am the eldest of all cousins from both sides of the family. So from my family, from both sides of my family. And I'm basically the one that is starting the new generation. So on my dad's side of the family, we are definitely starting the new generation. On my mom's side of the family, there's a baby from one of my cousins that was kind of like not planned necessarily, but we have a baby. So the new generation has already started, but it's like now we're like officially starting the new generation. So we are extremely happy. Our families are extremely happy. Everybody's sharing tears of joy. I'm sure that many of you are going to be super happy with me listening to this episode. I'm sure that you're going to share the happiness with me, but I also want to acknowledge this. And I wanted to talk about this. And I've been really sitting down and thinking, how do I want to announce things and how do I want to break the news? Because I do know that pregnancy announcements do steer many feelings from joy and love and compression, which means that you can be happy when another person is happy. But also it can steer sadness, it can steer hopelessness, it can steer jealousy, it can steer envy. And even if we don't want to feel those feelings, they might come. So I wanted to take some time to acknowledge all of those feelings, which are valid and legitimate. And I want to take some time to acknowledge the women in my community, women, my clients, some of the women in the Blistopia community, some friends, some family members who have had, up until now, experiences that were a lot harder than this. There are women in the community who want to have children, but they haven't found their partner yet. So listening to a person who's announcing a pregnancy can bring up some pain, because some people might think, and what about me? Like, when it's my turn, I also want those things. And I've been through this. I was the one that had been single for so many years, and people were getting married and getting babies and getting this and getting that. And I remember I've had this feeling of sadness in my heart. I was happy for them, but I was also thinking, oh, what about me? When is my turn to get those things? I also want those things. We also have women in the Bristopia community, some of my dearest clients who are on an active fertility journey, who have been trying to conceive for months. And I know the pain that situation brings. So please don't think that I'm coming here all lightly and sharing, hey, hi, how are you? I'm pregnant. Now I am thinking about you. And I cannot wait for you to get pregnant as well. I am thinking about you. We have women who have lost a pregnancy with the extreme pain that generates, extreme pain of losing a pregnancy, because yes, maybe that baby wasn't born, but it was your baby. So that generates an excruciating pain, both for the mom, for the father, for the family, the friends that were aware of that baby. We have women in the Blistopia community who have decided to end a pregnancy because they weren't ready or they weren't willing to become a mom under certain circumstances, under certain timings. And that's also an extreme pain. Going through an abortion is a trauma and it does generate extreme pain. We have women who have lost a newborn, and that also generates extreme pain. I am thinking about you, and I am sending you all of the love, all of the light, all of the light force. And my aim for this episode, well, you can see I deeply care about you. My aim for this episode is that you can see this pregnancy, my pregnancy, as light, as hope, and that you can think, you know what? If she can have it, so can I. If she can have it, so can I. And something that really helps is when you see someone that has something that you want, someone that has, for example, a pregnancy or a marriage or, I don't know, a certain job or a certain income in their business, whatever it might be that you want, that they have and you don't yet have, something that is really nice is to say, thank you, universe, I'm the next one. I love this phrase because it's saying, thank you, universe. First of all, I am grateful that this person is going through that, but also I'm the next one. Like, I want that as well, and I'm ready to receive that as well. So I hope that you can see this announcement. I hope that you can see this podcast and the whole pregnancy announcement and the whole thing, of being going through pregnancy with a healthy pregnancy up until now. And I'm sure it's going to continue that way. I hope that you see this with this sense of, if this is possible for her, it's possible for me too. When I decide to become mom, when I decide to try again, when I decide if this is possible for her, it's possible for me too. And also from a manifestation standpoint, when you start seeing things around you, it means that this thing is getting closer. So I hope that by using my healthy, easy pregnancy and other healthy, easy, smooth pregnancies, it means that your pregnancy, your baby is getting closer to you. So what I do invite you is to Surround yourself with expanders, with women that already have what you want. Curate your account. Make sure you're only following positive things. You're following people that get the baby. You're following people who have a positive experience, who have healthy babies, healthy pregnancies. There is so much noise out there, so much noise on social media. And of course, when people are going through difficult situations like a fertility journey or losing a pregnancy, whether that's voluntary or involuntarily, people tend to share a lot, right? As a way to cope with the feelings that come up, which again are extremely legitimate and valid. Now, the thing is, if you want a healthy pregnancy, a smooth pregnancy, you cannot be consuming those stories. You need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of the things that you're putting in your mind. So, in my case, when I knew that I was going to enter into this conception pregnancy stage of my life, I decided to really curate and follow people who were sharing all of their challenges with fertility and all of these issues. And I was like, no, this is like, I respect your story. I sincerely hope you get the baby that you want, but I'm not going to be part of that journey with you. Like, I need to have positive expanders around me. So I was only following women who had easy conception, easy pregnancies, were, you know, a little bit ahead of me, but they were having positive experiences because that's what I wanted to show my subconscious mind. This is what's going to happen. This is what we're getting here. So, what I invite you to do is to follow people who are having positive experiences, healthy babies, healthy pregnancies. And the same, like now I'm only 3 months, right? But as I get closer and closer to birth, there are so many stories of horrible birth, traumatic birth. And there are beautiful stories with easy births, and some people who don't experience pain, some people who have orgasmic births. So you'd better believe, I'm going to surround myself with positive examples of women who've had beautiful births and smooth postpartum experiences. I don't think we can say easy postpartum experience, but smooth postpartum experiences. Um, I invite you to see this announcement, the announcement that you're going to see on Instagram, my whole pregnancy, as an expansion for you as to what is possible. And please know that I am thinking about you, and I am so aware of the privilege of being able to tell this story the way I'm telling this story. And I am thinking of each and every one of you who have been on difficult situations, and I'm sending you all of the love, all of the light, all of the life force so that you can get the pregnancy, the babies that you desire. I'm going to end this episode really thanking you for being part of this journey, because you've literally seen me go through so many things since 2022 when the podcast started. You've seen me in my single, ambitious phase. You've seen me get Amore, my dream dog, meet Fabrice, the love of my life. You've seen me quit my job to follow my true purpose in life. You've seen me lost my dad. You've seen me move to Paris. You've seen me get engaged. You've seen me getting pregnant. And this is only going to continue, right? Like at some point, I'm going to get married and we're going to be there together in that journey. At some point, I'm going to have this first baby and we're going to be there in that journey. At some point, I'm going to have a second baby and we're going to be there. At some point, the business is going to grow to new fantastic levels and we're going to do new fantastic programs and we're going to be there. And I am just so, so, so thankful that we get to do this journey together. My aim with the episode, my aim with the podcast is to live life, to experiment, sometimes make mistakes, to experience extreme joy, extreme pain, and gain wisdom from all of those things. Gain wisdom in the moments of extreme joy, like the one I'm going through right now. Gain wisdom in the moments of extreme pain, like, for example, when I lost my father. Gain wisdom and then share that wisdom with you. I'm here to kind of like go first, experience it all, and then understand what lessons do I need to learn from all of those things, and then share those lessons with you. So thank you so much for being part of this magnificent journey that is life. Thank you so much for being here on the podcast for another week. I cannot wait to continue to share more updates with you. And for the time being, I want to say that there are absolutely no changes in the business for 2025. And then I will announce in due time how things are going to work next year as I take maternity leave. But as of now, as of 2025, there are no changes. I feel fantastic. So we're going to continue with the sessions. We're going to continue with all the programs. And then I will let everyone know in advance how we're going to do things for me to take some months for mat leave. So thank you so much again for being here. I love you so much. I am sending you so much love, so much light, so much life force, so much help. And I can't wait to see you on the next episode next week. And in the meantime, in Stop We Trust.